I once knew a special effects artist. He and I were friends. His name was Eric. And he had a special effects company called Von Scott Studios. It was a warehouse in that area was like I think Upland, and he did the testicles for a movie called Van Wilder's Senior Trip. I think that's what the name of it was. It was whatever National Lampoon movie, or no, Van Wilder movie. I don't know. Some movie with Ryan Reynolds when there's a scene when he's got dog testicles on his cheek and wakes up and goes, ugh. I haven't seen it, but it sounds funny. Now, I have seen the cover of the dog looking back, and it's got the testicles with the square over it saying censored. That's as much as I've seen, despite loving Ryan Reynolds. I need to check that movie out. Anyway, that's beside the point. Um, so, he and I were friends. I should have known that he had problems with narcissism. Remember, I did not know anything about narcissism yet, and this was back when I was 19. He and I would be training in martial arts, and he'd get aggressive and get angry when I was doing the move properly. You know, like I'd do a certain hand lock when you bring them out. He's like, "Oh, you think you're a master? You think you're a master, huh?" And that's how they are. A lot of narcissistic men are incapable of being leaders because they cannot guide and teach others. They're always in the mindset of, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm going to show you why I'm better than you. So that's one trait that you should always be aware of. It makes it basically impossible for them to teach people things correctly. Their mindset too is never teach someone as much as you know, so you always remain the master. So a very flawed way of thinking. So one day he moves to Michigan, he and his wife Yoli. And there's a haunted insane asylum out there called Eloise, which they were going to do a documentary about. And turned out that that's where they were from. That was their home. I did not know that. That's where they grew up. So when they're moving their stuff, they had a friend. And one thing I did notice is they said they could never hold on to friends. And they said that they don't know what it is. All of a sudden, their friends would start acting crazy and start yelling at them. And they had no idea what was going on. And all of the sudden, the friendship would be gone. And they're like, wow, we don't want that person in our life anymore. It's like, get rid of toxicity. And again, I did not understand how vague it was. You know, narcissists narcissists never give reasonings. It just happens. I don't know. They just do this. I don't know. When they project, call you narcissist. Why am I a narcissist? Oh, don't act stupid. We can all tell. I just hope that other people are able to see right through you and see it too. I hear that one a lot from narcissists. I hear them come up with that excuse a lot. About a third of them, maybe more. But that was his reasoning, was they just do. No answer. I thought, well, it's his business. I'm not gonna pry. So what they're helping them move is a friend of theirs. I don't know the guy too well. And the friendship between those two had just ended like that day when he was helping them move. And they told me that there's a problem between them and that guy, and that he blew an engine to their truck. And when I spoke to him, because he was driving me back from helping them move, Eric and Yoli were in one truck. He and I were in another big semi dually truck. I'm like, okay. I asked him, what's going on, and he said, look, he said, I'm not gonna give you details about it. Someday you'll see. He says, because I was wondering too. And I was once told by a former friend of theirs that one day I'll get it, I'll experience it, and I'll see. And that's how it is for you. He says, there's no way to describe it, but you'll see someday. You'll see, because it will happen to you. And he said that they told me that too, and I didn't know how to take it. He said, but now I get it. It's like someday you'll see. So I admire and appreciate his integrity for not wanting to badmouth these people. But I kind of wish that he gave me some hints so I could have been able to be better prepared. So that was in 2003. 7 years go by, and I'm in an oil job in Bakersfield, California, making really good money. Like, I am on it, okay? I'm making good money. Um, I'm happy. I didn't view myself as happy, but now I look back at it and realize that unfortunately life has gotten so bad that's happiness. And I went ahead and well, here's the thing: is he talked to me about going over there because he had one guy that was a former Marine went into the haunted insane asylum and ran out screaming, ran out and never came back. They never heard from him again. They never even had a way to get him his paycheck, you know. Um, but he said that no one's got the balls, no one's got the guts, because he's looking for a tough guy and a background of like, you know, military or special for something like that, mostly military. I'm thinking, well, that's where you're going wrong. You're looking for physically tough people for mentally disturbing things. He says, can you come over here and do it? I said, well, I can do it, but the money has got to be there. The money's got to be there. And how long is it going to be filming? So we're going back and forth. And I'm telling him, look, I'm not going out there until the money's secured. I'm going to be 30 years old soon. And I have a plan to be at a certain place by the time I'm 30. The last thing I want is to be struggling financially. So what happens is he calls me up and says, "Hey, I got everything set. We've secured the funding. We have the safety person there. We have medical on site." He says, "Everything that you wanted, we've we've got it." I was like, "All right, cool. When do you want to start filming?" He says, "We want you out here by this date for preparation, and once winter hits, we're going to film it during the winter." He says, "We have to wait though till it snows, so filming might be sporadic." Not a problem, man. Not a problem. So he secures 1 point something $1 million. He was looking for like it went all the way down to like $1.5 million. Because he was going to do the editing, special effects, and all that stuff himself. All right, cool, man, cool. So, talking about it, I estimated that I should get paid about $80,000. I drive up there, and the drive was bad. Both windows broke on my Mustang. Now, this Mustang was amazing. It was an '86 GT Mustang that, before it belonged to me, it belonged to another professional golfer which it was given to him by Tiger Woods. This was Tiger Woods' Mustang. And I found some stuff in the trunk, hand warmers and stuff like that. And I asked the former owner about it. He says, "Oh, that wasn't mine. That was just there when he got it. I never cleared this stuff out." I thought, this is cool. This is a bunch of Tiger Woods stuff, you know? So I head out there with that Mustang, and the heater breaks. The right window falls through the door. The left window falls into the door, and I'm going through a blizzard, and I am freezing cold. I'm not able to fix it on the way, so I drive the last, I think, 1,200 miles like that. And like I suffered, man. Um, just hitting these nasty ass hotels. You know, the cheapo, they were so gross. Um, I finally get out there. I get to him, and we meet up at a restaurant. And now the way he's talking about it is different, as though they don't have the funding. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And I'm trying to get a straight answer from him. He says, we've got it. We've secured. We're just waiting for everything to finish, you know. But yeah, we're good. I'm like, okay, because shit, I just got here. I left a job that pays me a crap load of money, you know, and the last thing I want is to freaking lose everything and be homeless at the age of 30. You know, I already had to sell my RV, and when I went out there, I couldn't bring my RV with me. It was just too much gas and everything. So when a guy took it for the test drive, the engine started steaming, which never happened before. And then part of the tire was falling apart, the wheel, which never happened before. And then sparks started coming out of the battery compartment. And the water wasn't functioning. All these things happened the day of the test drive. So I was leaving the next day. I've been trying to sell it for 2 months, and I sold it for $80. Ugh, $80. So anyway, all of my precious belongings though were all able to fit in that Mustang. I had a lot of collection items. I had a World War II bomber jacket that was worth $800. You know, my computers, my DVDs, special editions, everything was worth about. I'd say everything was worth about 12 grand in that car. So I get out there, and he introduces me to his roommate and childhood friend. And at this point, I'm like, wait, childhood friend? And that's when he tells me that he is actually from there, that he was born and raised in Michigan. And I was like, oh, cool, man. But the thing that popped in my head was the whole time we've known each other, you told me you were from Texas. So apparently he met his wife in Texas. Then it turned out they met in Arcadia, California. But I'm thinking this is not adding up. But you know what? He's always big on privacy, his business, whatever. Um, I move into the apartment. My roommate, his friend, has no money. And he has no way to pay rent. So I had about a 10, 10, 16, 17,000 dollars with me, on something like that. Um, so now I'm at this place and I'm starting to pay rent, and then this guy, he can't make his car payment. I talked to Eric, the guy who hooked me up with him. I'm like, look, I'm paying this guy's utilities and rent and everything. He's like, don't worry, we'll make good on it. We will make good on it. Um, he said, just right now, just think of it as a loan, you know, to get by. But we will pay you back for everything. You know, just keep logs on it. Like, oh, okay. So he comes by the next day after I got there. We're moving back to the beginning of the story when I first got to Michigan. I'm in Wayne, Michigan. There was a bikini bar there. Then I was friends with all the girls. They were so sweet, and it was called the Fiddle. And it was a fun little bar, but unfortunately it was the only thing to do. And I'm not much into like strip clubs or bikini bars, but the girls, they were tasteful and they were nice. And it's like the owner was cool. It was some Asian guy. He was a cool dude. I liked him a lot. So every once in a while I would be going there, and I'm just here waiting to hear about production. But again, I'm getting off track. I'm there on day one when we went out to the restaurant and everything, and we're talking about the production and how it's going to work. Day two comes. This is before I'm paying rent for this guy and I know what I've gotten myself into. And Eric and Yoli come by on day number two. And their attitude was very strange because they are talking at me, not to me, about how this is a real production. And if people know that them and us, the talents, are friends, then it's really embarrassing. Because if other people in the crew, as far as like the grips and the cameraman and the other talent are there, and they see that the producers, the head producers, and I slash director and I have an actual friendship and know each other, then it will show that anyone can just talk to them. They said if you come up and talk to us, and Yoli and Eric's just like, yep, yep, just agreeing with this woman. She's like, if you come up and talk to us, we're just gonna be like, and puts her head down and walks away. She's like, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do because we're not gonna put up with that. And nothing has even happened yet. As a matter of fact, this was their first film. They had never been in this part of a production before. The only things they've done before was they were on the Andy Dick show where he made a big penis puppet for Andy Dick and the dog testicle thing, you know, for that. Everything else was smaller stuff, other movies. So these people are treating me this way when I'm doing them a favor and I'm going out of my way and I'm thinking, okay, something must have happened, where they're stressed out. Someone, a lower person, must have tried to contact them. But it didn't make any sense to me because I did not know how. Oh, my phone's overheating. I guess this is part one. This will just be part one of the Von Scott Studio story or something. I don't know. I guess I'll call it that. Yeah, Von Scott Studio story, part one.